Hello and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Insert Edge Loop, Offset Edge Loop and Slide Edge tool in Maya. Alright? Now, as you know that we can manipulate the components of an object to transform a simple object into a complex one. And also we saw how we can create new polygons from the existing ones to create more sophisticated objects. Here, we'll take a look at few such other tools using which we can add more details to the surfaces of objects. Alright? The first tool is the Insert Edge Loop tool under the Mesh tools. Using this, we can insert edge loops in between other edge loops on the surface. Or you can say that we can split the faces using this tool, like subdividing the surface into smaller sections. However, there is one criteria for these edge loop tools to work if you really want to add closed edge loops and not open edge loops, like it may happen many times when dealing with different types of polygons. And that is, you need to have polygons that are quadrilaterals and not triangles or n-gons. Quadrilaterals are polygons with 4 sides or corners. Triangles are polygons with 3 sides or corners. And n-gons are polygons with more than 4 sides or corners, such as pentagons, hexagons, and so on. You can only split a loop of quadrilateral faces using these tools. So, if you try to split a series of triangles, it just won't work as intended. In many cases, where there are both quadrilaterals and triangles, the loop will continue only until the last quadrilateral that it can find on its path, after which the loop will just have open ends, and hence it will not be a closed loop as required. When modeling objects, we prefer to use faces that are quadrilaterals, so that every component, such as the edges or the faces, are always in loops. This helps in subdividing the surfaces uniformly, as many times as we want, quite easily when needed. Now, there are many options when using the Insert Edge Loop tool, and those can be accessed by going to Mesh Tools and clicking on this box icon for Insert Edge Loop. Here, you will find mainly 3 options regarding how we can position the edges. The first option is the default one, where you can simply click and drag on the edges to insert an edge loop wherever you want, and leave the mouse button to confirm its position. Alright? In this, relative distance means that the edge loop will be positioned relative to the spacing of the surrounding edges. You can simply say that it is calculated in percentages rather than in exact numbers, and hence the edge loop will always divide the space proportionally between 2 adjacent edges, no matter how bigger or smaller the spacing between them is. The next option is equal distance from edge. Using this option, you can insert an edge loop which is evenly spaced from the nearest edge. You can say that this one works more like in numbers. Like if the distance from the closest edge is 3 units, then it will be same across the entire length of the loop, irrespective of the spacing between the 2 adjacent loops. Alright? The third option is multiple loops, where you can enter the number of loops that you want to insert all at once and evenly spaced from one another between 2 adjacent edge loops. You can use this option to equally divide a surface into as many sections as you want. Alright? Now, coming to the Offset Edge Loop tool, you can go to Mesh Tools and click on Offset Edge Loop to activate it. Using this, you can click and drag on edges to create edge loops on either side of the edge. You can change the spacing by going to its options. Here, you can select between relative and equal spacing like the Insert Edge Loop tool. If you select relative, the edge loops will be inserted based on the distances between the adjacent edge loops. Just remember that relative means proportional division of space based on percentages rather than exact values. Whereas, if you select this equal option, then the edge loops will be inserted evenly spaced from the edge on which we are clicking and dragging. The distance of the central edge loop will be same from the edge loops on its either side. Alright? Now, the last tool that I would like to show you is the Slide Edge tool. Using this, you can slide an edge or an edge loop on a surface to reposition it while also maintaining the flow of the surface. You just have to select an edge or edge loop and click and drag with your middle mouse button within the viewport to slide the edge loop to either side on the surface. Alright? You might think that why not we can do the same thing using the move tool. Yes, definitely we can, but that is not going to maintain the flow of the surface. Sliding means you slide an edge on a surface without affecting the overall flow of the surface. You can use this tool to adjust the spacing between edges or different edge loops. Alright? So this is how we can use the insert edge loop, offset edge loop and slide edge tool in Maya.